3 months of work leading up to this very moment. Let's get our first start. But first, we gotta go back to where we left off. All the way from the UK, my brand new parts. And that leaves us with this. About $40,000 in parts to get my 720 fixed up. All right, in our first pallet, this is our whole new rear subframe assembly. Let's get this thing opened up.
Oh, whoa. Thank gosh, you have a really good knife. That's a big box.
It's like 8, 7 by, it's a massive pallet. Guess how much it was to ship this pallet? $3,000. Not that bad, actually.
That's not horrible. Yeah, this is air freight.
So here is our brand new used rear subframe assembly. This was ungodly expensive, but was the cheapest subframe I could find. I think I ended up paying $6,000 for this. Not bad, they're like 26 grand new.
Yeah.
So, a few bucks saved.
Is that a crack? Is that a hairline crack?
Where?
Right on that joint?
This?
Yeah, oh, oop, never mind.
Dude, you scared me.
I know, I saw it, I was like, what? Oh, almost knocked me out. That go in your foot?
Yeah.
Nice.
Aw, it's a little rusty.
It's McLaren, baby.
Now we got some other parts in here as well, but we'll get to this stuff later.
What's in the fucking box?
I guess.
A child?
Fender liner stuff.
Timu? Oh.
It's light.
Damn. Okay. Hitting leg day, huh? Oh, jeez. Except it's like backwards. Ah, there you go. Need a little handy. Nope. Oh.
Now we need to go ahead and get this old rear subframe detached from this car. It is just held on by a few bolts that goes to the carbon chassis, which has this aluminum block on it. A couple bolts, and we should be able to slide this thing right out. No, I believe we just got all of our accessories disconnected. All the clamps that hold a harness to the subframe, everything disconnected. So that way, when we remove this from the chassis, it should slide right out. Now, taking a look at our new subframe, it looks like it's just held on by 6 bolts. We have 1 on the lower section, 2 up top, and then the same on this side. So we should have a total of 6 bolts, and I'm hoping we can just pull this right off.
Oh yeah, that angle is, keep doing that. What?
One's loose. You hear it pop? It's like a friction pop.
I've never seen such a contraption.
It's a stubby
oh my
half
gosh. See, what's the point of having that?
Because I only have breaker guard.
She sounds crunchy.
So scary. It's just a McLaren, you know? Looks like we have missed a bolt to get the subframe off. Right behind this tube, there is a bolt hole, but looks like the only way to access it is from behind the seats. So we're gonna go ahead, remove the seats, pull off this back panel, and hopefully find that stupid pesky bolt. It's just a very common seat rail. 2 bolt holes in the back, 2 bolt holes in the front. The issue is the seat is so close to the ground. The back ones are easily accessible, but the front are not.
Oh, it looks like there's a bolt right on the seat. Just pops out on your side.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you see that?
Race car. Like full-on race car right there. There we go. The size of it, that is.
21 millimeter. Whoa, what is that? Was that agony or was that, oh?
Agony.
Just as your like sim setup. Yeah, there you go. Sounds crunchy.
We know that there was a passenger in the car as this seatbelt locked up, so we have to go ahead in this video too, pull this whole seatbelt out, get it shipped off to get rebuilt.
Who's gonna rebuild it?
People online do it.
Oh, really?
There's a company. That's the floor.
Yeah, that is the floor.
Car. I know, it's cool though, it's like all carbon.
Oh. Oh, it's fine.
Did I not break it?
No.
Really? All right.
Were you expecting it to break?
I thought it was gonna break.
Oh. A seam?
Ow. Ah, I smacked that fucking piece of wood. Holy fuck. Ow.
You're bleeding.
This car's held on, like everything's together by like duct tape. Or not duct tape, but Velcro and like bolts.
Oh, your tab is ripping on the right. Where's that glue? Nice.
There we go.
Ooh, now we see the guts.
What's behind here? Haha, there's the bolt. It's right
No
there.
way.
It has to be that bolt on top of the weld.
Yeah.
No way. All right, now that we got the old subframe out, let's put the new one in. Hopefully it goes in pretty easy. It should. Before we get our new subframe bolted on, we're gonna go ahead and transfer all of the hardware onto the new one. Good, bad, good. We got the new subframe in, but before we get the engine placed in, we gotta fix this.
Just smack it so hard.
Now, we are ready essentially to get the engine placed back in and we can start assembling all of the engine stuff, but unfortunately my filler neck is damaged, so we wanna go ahead, hopefully try to find that part in my pile of new parts, get that replaced, and we should be good to go. Just put the engine back in this thing, then fire her up. Now I'm hoping this box has my new filler neck. I believe I ordered that on my second wave of parts. That pallet back there was my first wave. That has all my doors, bumpers, body panels, cooler, stuff like that. I'm hoping this has my filler neck.
What's that? Oh, dude, that works better than the knife.
It does.
What the hell? Second thought, maybe. Oh. Gonna have to censor that out.
I don't even know what I ordered.
It's all below the stall.
Holy. This goes something.
Ooh, wide body, huh?
Found it. I don't even know how much this costs. How much did this cost?
Like 20 bucks.
I wish.
I mean, dad paid for it, so that's fine. I don't think it matters.
Now here we go. The new rear subframe is installed in the car. It is actually ready to get that engine installed back in the car, which is super, super exciting. This build should start escalating a lot quicker now that I have all of the parts in front of us. But this old rear subframe that we had to get replaced as this tube got completely pinched in and just twisted and damaged. My goal with rebuilding cars is to make it as OEM spec as possible. Now I could have cut this out, put another piece in here, re-welded it and made it work. But in my brain, that was driving me crazy because that's not how it would leave the factory. So thankfully I was able to source a new subframe. It wasn't too expensive, but by far, probably one of the most expensive parts on this car I had to replace. But the good news is I can sell this damaged and still get get about $2,000 from it from the looks of other eBay listings and stuff like that. I don't know how, but these damaged parts are still worth some good money. Now, the nice thing with this engine is it should go back in relatively easy. With the subframe now installed, this subframe membrane just bolts up to that subframe. The nice part with pulling this engine is you don't have to pull the engine away from their trans or pull the trans. It all comes out together. The only thing you have to worry about is your rear axles and assembly. So let's go ahead and get this engine back inside the car.
On wood.
Well, they say these are 1,000 pounds capable. It sure, it held up though. It held up, it held the engine. Not bad. Now this looks incredibly sketchy. Don't get me wrong, it is. The issue we're dealing with is since I don't have a lift installed yet, to get the engine under here, we gotta raise the car so we can slide it under. And we're hoping that this 2x4 is gonna work. All right, before we die, let's get this in. So we're gonna have to swing that ascent first. Okay. All right, now with the engine in its rough position, this 2x4 came in clutch. We have to go ahead and raise the engine, raise the transmission. There's just a couple bolt holes, one here, one there, and then on the front section, there's 3 bolts as well. Bolts up to the main subframe, and then we should have an attached engine. We are about a ½ an inch away from getting the subframe bolted to our engine here. Just gonna take it up very slowly. Our transmission is almost in line as well. This is very exciting. Blow her down. Okay. Nope, keep coming. Keep coming.
It's fully set.
A little bit.
Huh?
Yep, that looks pretty lined up. Now to put this ridiculously long bolt back in that connects our subframe to our transmission mount, getting this out, if you've ever worked on a 720, most of you guys probably haven't, this bolt was a nightmare to remove. I'm hoping putting it back in should be a lot easier, and then whatever factory torque spec is on this, I don't even want to know, but we need to utilize our jack to help get the front subframe bolts in, and I only have one jack. So we gotta go ahead and get the transmission in first. Ready? You're on? She's on, baby. And now we just got that transmission bolt in. In theory, we should be able to take out this jack. The transmission's in, baby. All those noises are normal. It's okay.
Dude, it's so scary. It's like...
You break it, you buy it.
I'm good.
Dude, the transmission's in. Look at that.
They lined it up better too over here.
So now we just have a total of 3, 6, 9, 12 bolts to bolt up the subframe to our engine, and our engine's installed.
What do you got?
There we go. Huh?
You got an engine, buddy.
Dude, let's fire her up. Yup. Woo! And just like that, the 720s engine and transmission is sitting back in the car. So exciting, as now for my first time, I have successfully removed and reinstalled a supercar engine and transmission. This is absolutely wild. But now we need to go through and get our whole engine harness, our transmission harness all connected, get all of the plumbing done, and then we can start putting on our exhaust, our downpipe, cap back, all of our coolers, to get this thing ready for its first start. Oh, over here in my parts mess, we have a mixture of damaged parts, brand new parts still on the pallet on the floor. As you guys can see, we do have a brand new driver's side door. You can see that it is not the same color as the car was, and that's because we're repainting this whole car. Obviously in this video, we're not gonna be getting to painting the whole car, but I'm curious, let me know down below, what color would you guys like to see me repaint my 720? Now, there's 3 color options in mind. I would like to stick with the McLaren color. There's a volcano orange to match our interior, volcano red, which would look sick, but I feel like would clash with the orange interior. And then there's one other color I might keep a secret for now. I'm not quite sure if that's what I want to do, but I'm curious on your guys' input. of what color we should paint this. But before we get to all of the fun stuff of reinstalling all our new panels, let's go ahead and jump into our boring stuff of connecting all our sensors. Well, we've made some good progress on getting everything routed where it needs to be. The engine harness is all routed. All of the other lines are now plumbed back to the engine. So now we can start throwing on our intercooler, stuff like that, and then we can make our way to attaching our radiators. Now, man, does McLaren do a fantastic job of just packing everything into such tight areas. Getting all of these hoses, lines, and harnesses into the specific spot it needs to be was kind of a pain, especially because I took this car apart a little over a month ago now. So we're trying to remember exactly where it all went. Was kind of tricky, but as you guys can see, we already started putting together our rear end. We have our wing blade actuators on, the rear bumper, our air pumps are all plumbed up, and all the lines going to our hydraulic wing. But up front on the turbo area side, we still have the intercoolers which sit up top. We have our turbo inlets which kind of loop around 180 and then go back to where it collects air from the back of the car. And then we can start throwing on our downpipes, catback, stuff like that. But I kid you not, getting to the point where we're at right now has quite literally taken me all day long. Sitting on our nice lev rack system is where all of the rest of the engine critical stuff are. Our intercoolers, we have our rear air duct boxes, we have our ECUs, TCUs, all of these goodies that we got to go ahead and get on there. But let's go ahead and start with our intercoolers. Let's go. With our intercooler now installed, all of this stuff is plumbed on each side. That leaves us with just a few things left, which means my goal of getting this car started tomorrow is very, very realistic now that we just have our plumbing for our radiator. We have some AC condenser lines that we need to get ran over as well. Those did break on this side, and I'm hoping I actually ordered the new lines. We'll have to dig through our whole new parts pile in a little bit here, but I think we're gonna go ahead and tackle up the rear, get our air boxes mounted, get our wing on, get our ECUs and TCUs plugged in. That way when we go for our first start, every connector is plugged in so we don't throw any weird codes. So let's go ahead and button up this section. Now, unfortunately, our driver's side airbox, as you guys can see, completely destroyed itself on the impact, but I have a new one over there. Brand new from McLaren. We got a brand new carbon airbox. Now, it's like a carbon air duct, except the only part that's carbon is just this vent that goes into our filter here. The rest of this is just plastic. No, I believe the orientation is something like this. I believe the wire harness goes here and the ECU bolts directly to this airbox. We're gonna go ahead and grab our ECU, get that mounted up so we can see if this is how we're supposed to do it. Now with our ECUs all connected, let's go ahead and start buttoning up our suspension. The passenger side was completely fine, so we're gonna go ahead, put on the whole assembly that we took off. Now somewhere in my part dungeon here, we have, what side is this? This is the hammer side. You guys can see the upper control arm is completely hammered. When we get to the driver's side, somewhere in this pile of parts, I do have all new suspension components, but let's go ahead and throw in our passenger side. Now, this might be a little tricky doing this with by myself, but I think we can get it done. All of that bolts up here, so we have to go ahead and remove all of these bolts, and it should just slide right into place. Well, we got our passenger side suspension all complete. Truthfully, it was a little bit more of a struggle than I initially thought trying to get it all in together. But now let's go ahead and start the repair of this car with our suspension. Now, this suspension took quite a hit. As you guys can see, our upper control arm got completely bent. Our lower control arm was tweaked, and just take a look at our suspension. In case you guys don't know, this is supposed to be straight. Now, thankfully, axle, our brake caliper, our main braking caliper, and our carbon ceramic brake are in good condition. The carbon ceramic brake alone is $8,000 a corner. $32,000 for all new rotors on this car, but somewhere in these boxes, we gotta go ahead and track down our new suspension and control arms. I saw the coilover the other day. I don't know where it went. Well, in our front bucket here, looks like we got our new upper control arm, our tie rod. Set this over here. Right in front of me is our new coilover. Oh, that's awesome. It came with a new accumulator. After taking a closer look, what I thought was our rear suspension component, it does turn out that it is actually our front. Since I wasn't sure if any of the suspension components was damaged up front, it doesn't look like it is, which is a good sign because this part right here was $2,400. So if it turns out I don't need that, that's $2,400 back in my pocket. But now, I need to try to find our rear suspension part, which I have a feeling is in this box right here. Haha, it is. Now the rear suspension is actually slightly cheaper. This was $2,200 versus $2,400. Don't know where the price discrepancy is, but brand new from McLaren. Let's get this bolted on. All right, well, we got the driver's side suspension complete, but while I have some help here, we're gonna go ahead and tackle the front end. This got pretty mangled up. The whole front subframe is destroyed. So we're gonna go ahead, drop this out, get everything that we need disconnected. This frame rail also has to come out. It got banged up in an accident. If I'm wanting to fix this car 100%, we're gonna go ahead and replace this. I have two brand new ones, one for each side. I don't think I'm gonna replace this, but let's go ahead and get all of this stripped out. All right, I think we got everything disconnected. We're just gonna go ahead and loosen the actual subframe bolts itself and slowly get this thing out of here. Another round, dude. How are you? How did I miss that one? On my face. That's actually so sick. Now I think we're gonna go ahead and replace both sides. I have both rails. I don't think I can return them. The only reason is this is slightly tweaked right there. Probably hard for you guys to tell. We're here and I'd probably kick myself later. Well, what we can do, we could bolt that up and then put the new core support on and see if she lines up. Let's slide it on. Just like that. That's so cool to me. I think that's the new, I think it's together. I hope I bought the new core support. I thought I did. For a closer examination on the passenger side frame rail, this is tweaked. I thought that was normal until I looked at the driver's side. It's supposed to be perfectly 90-degree angle and then flat. This is a little like fun slide. So we're gonna go ahead, unbolt that as well and get our new one placed on. Just have a few 10 millimeters. This is our alignment set screw, I'll call it. We have a few clips we gotta take off, brackets that attach to our rail, and we should be able to slide this one out, just like our driver's side. So you guys wanted to know what a 720 looks like with no front end. That is wild. It's like a little midget. Wow. Leaves us a 720 missing the entire front end from the frame rails up. Unfortunately, the one thing I knew was gonna happen happened. We're missing one of these coolant lines. I knew these got destroyed. I thought I bought both of them. Unfortunately, I only ended up buying one. Now the price tag on this line is astronomical from McLaren. Now in front of us, we have one of the new lines. This costs $800 from McLaren, which is astronomically expensive. I found one for a deal. I went ahead and overnighted the other line, but we cannot go ahead and put the new subframe in or any of that until that part comes in. So we're gonna go ahead, get the new frame rails bolted on, get the core support on, try to get as much of the front end completed as possible without those lines in, but we're gonna go ahead and get the rest of the rear end completely done. We have our radiators, our AC condensers, our taillights, and a few other things that we can get buttoned up. Man, this sucks. And now for our wing. Now, after weeks and weeks of waiting, the last remaining missing parts for my McLaren rebuild have landed. And today, boys, today is the day we're gonna be attempting our very first startup on this rebuild after we had it completely torn apart. Now, these parts came in a week earlier than I thought they were, so all other plans completely out the window. The Honda stuff is gonna have to wait. We're gonna go ahead and get this pulled outside and start getting the 720 together. But here's a little cold start for you boys. Ignition switch. Shut her down. So sick. Now we're so close already to the first one of this car, but we were missing tons of coolant lines, AC lines, bracketry, stuff like that, which when we open these boxes, I am praying that everything we need to get this car fired up properly will be in there. We're gonna go ahead and start just buttoning all that stuff up. We're not that far away. We are missing the coolant lines up front that hopefully we can go ahead, replace them with the new ones, get the subframe in, all of this electrical hooked back up, get the battery in here, and then on the rear, we just have a few things that we need to plumb and get hooked up. And then it's just water, oil, and pray to God this thing starts. Now let's go ahead and open these up. Crazy how much money these packages here are worth. Pretty small boxes, yet this was like 5 grand. Now package number 1. Let's see what's in here. Aha, our new HVAC units. This was not cheap. Also, much bigger than it looks in the car. No way. This got damaged in shipping. And well, this piece went there. Now, no need to worry yet. I'm gonna go ahead and contact McLaren and get a new one on the way. We don't need this to start the car. The one on the car is perfectly functioning, besides it's cracked up here. Honestly, the one in the car is in better condition than this brand new unit. And then in the box here are more broken pieces off of it. How sick. This is just my luck with cars. Every single time shit like this happens. Now, hopefully when we open up our other box, we don't have any damaged goodies. All right, let's try to go one for one here. These should be all my miscellaneous brackets, hardware, my new front headlight radiator bracket. That's a very important piece. The missing coolant line for the front. Ooh, all of our OEM McLaren hardware. Now let's play a fun game of guess the price. All of the stuff in front of us cost $5,000, and that was kind of with the hookup. So if you guess $5,000, you're correct. Kind of outrageous. Some of the stuff is very cheap. Some of the stuff is very expensive. Like this line right here is almost $800. $800 for this. Absurd. Now it's time we get our hands dirty and start putting on all of these missing parts back on the car, starting off with the rear, and then we're gonna make our way up front and get that buttoned up. All right, the first thing we're gonna go ahead and tackle is buttoning up this corner section here. Now, everything on a McLaren is very tight, very hard to get to and work around. So we're gonna try to do this in the proper steps. Right there is the line for the AC condenser that goes to our AC condenser here. We're gonna go ahead and get that line on, get our downpipe on, then we can throw on our cap back, and then go ahead and plumb up our radiator. We have a few missing bolts, we'll get that connected, and then the whole rear end is plumbed up. I believe all electrical is done. Before we do this first start, we're gonna go through, make sure everything's plugged in, and then once we finish that, we have a ton of work in front of us at the front of the car. Now, I believe this should be the proper AC line. Already off to a great start. That is not the proper AC line. This is the one that is supposed to go there. The, of course, damaged one. I'm not quite sure where that other line goes. I've had every single part of this car torn apart, and I'm blanking on what that line would possibly go to, but I know it's not the AC line. So what we're gonna have to do is just put the downpipe on, and hopefully when we get the proper AC line in, we can squeeze this behind there and still get it plumbed in, which kind of sucks, but I am not waiting for any more delays. We're getting this started today. So I guess next up, we have to go ahead and put in all of our missing hardware for our lower control arms. As this was in the accident, it did shear all of those bolts off on the lower arms. So I went ahead and replaced those. I think we are just missing two, one on each lower control arm. So we're gonna go ahead and get that buttoned up, just so we don't forget in the future and try to drive this car and total this a second time. Now, I bought so much extra hardware because almost all the bolts on this car are the same, and it never hurts to have extra, especially when they're hard to get from McLaren. And these are surprisingly pretty cheap for what they are, cheaper than your local Ace Hardware. So these are the bolts we need for the lower control arm. Let's go ahead and grab two of these. The only con with the new hardware is they don't have the paint marker for their torquing, because everything on this car from McLaren has their painted to show that they torqued it down from factory. But let's go ahead and get these bolts in. I found it. I know where that one line goes. So it is still an AC line, but just the other AC line that I don't actually need. This one right here. Let's just go ahead and grab this one to verify. Yep, this is the exact same line. Goes to the lower part of the condenser. So not a big issue. That's probably my fault on my end. I probably just sent the people the wrong part number because they were right next to each other. But like I mentioned, I think we should be able to squeeze behind there when we get the new part in and get it bolted on. I mean, nothing on this car is easy to work on, but who needs AC right now anyway? Well, I guess it is summertime. Now in my very, very expensive parts pile here, let's try to find the other downpipe. I'm not quite sure where I put it. It's gotta be around here somewhere. I spy with my little eye a catted, lame downpipe. All right. Now, I'm gonna try to snake this up there. So much easier when you've done this before. By before, when I tore this car apart. Boom. And now we can't forget our oxygen sensors. I'm sure the car will freak out if those aren't hooked up when we're trying to get this car running. So let me go grab those. And there we go. We have a pre-cat and an after-cat one that we gotta go ahead and get mounted on here. That clips in there. Now which one goes where? I believe this is the back one. Yeah. And now we can plug them in. Boom. And now the rear end is 99% plumbed up. We have both downpipes in. There's some missing bracketry and whatnot, but we'll get that worked up in a little bit here. All right, rear end's complete. I forgot about one last hydraulic line I had to get hooked up because if I start the car and it starts spewing out hydraulic fluid, that would suck. Now we can make our way onto the front. The first thing we need to go ahead and do is replace both of these damaged coolant lines, and then we can get this subframe placed back in here and then start connecting everything. Now let's crawl under here and get these lines disconnected without breaking this very expensive harness. Now McLaren does some very cool things when they assemble cars because they know some things might have to come off. Now I was trying to figure out which of these lines is the top, which one is the bottom. Yeah, let me show you what they did. So one of these lines from the Y has the line on it. The other one doesn't. So I was kind of confused on why they did that, but if we take a look under the car, it might be hard for you guys to see. We can see those lines going right here. One that doesn't have the new hose uses just a regular reusable hose clamp, and then on the other side for the line, this is a non-removable. These are the one-time use clamps, but if we take a look back here where it does include the line, we just disconnect it from that reusable hose clamp. So no having to put on the non-reusable hose clamps, it just literally comes off and goes back on. Now, perfect timing. This is the paint store that just gave me a call on the paint for this car as we are gonna be repainting it. Now, it's very difficult to try to find the McLaren OEM colors, but that's his call. Hey, I just got a call from you guys.
And he was saying with those three colors right there, we don't have access to anything for them. I guess McLaren is pretty particular on who gets their colors, especially these ones. So he said the only place that you can get them from is a certified McLaren dealer, and they only sell small quantities, like a quart is all they'll sell you.
Really?
And you have to go through like a bunch of paperwork to do it.
Okay. Damn, but you guys have all the other colors that you guys can use.
Yeah, I've got, let me pull it up really quick. I can tell you a couple of the ones that we have.
That's not a good sign. And out with the old. All right, now with those new coolant lines on, we can go ahead and unbox our brand new subframe, get all of the old components transferred onto this. Now this was not cheap. This tiny piece of aluminum was, I believe, $4,000. Crazy, all because it got pinching up front, but that is completely unfixable. So we're gonna go ahead and swap over all of our sensors. These are for our control arms, so we have our, and then we have tons of other miscellaneous sensors as well. Our grounding strap for our battery. Let's go ahead and get all of this swapped over. And now with everything swapped over to the new subframe, we're gonna go ahead, slide under here, get this bolted up. Have my buddy Alec here giving me a hand as it's kind of hard working on this stuff by yourself. So we're gonna go ahead, hopefully this goes in pretty easily. The hardest part is getting all of our accessories, our power steering rack, our ABS, all of that to sit flush with this. We have the new subframe in, kind of a ginormous pain to get everything to line up, but everything's lining up so far. We have about, I think, 10 ground wires, a ton of other miscellaneous connectors. We're gonna go ahead, get all of that pumped back up, get our new battery brackets on, throw in the battery, tie all that together, then we have to build the new bracket for the driver's side headlights. All of this stuff, as it does have a radiator up front, and of course it was damaged in the accident, so we have to go ahead, rebuild all that, get that put together, get it placed on the driver's side, plumb it up, and that's all realistically we need to do to get a first startup. Make sure everything's connected, put fluids in it, water, make sure we put oil, and go from there. 30 minutes later on this one ground. Yeah, let's tighten her down. Oh, hell yeah. Wow. Now we have all of the electrical. I should probably move my tools before I lose those. All of that is now hooked up. There is like 6 or 7 ground wires. They're tucked all over the place. So difficult to get to, but all of the electrical up front is now connected. Of course, besides our battery, we are missing the headlight plug, stuff like that. I am about to go ahead and start assembling our whole headlight unit on this side. I'm hoping that all of these plastic pieces that just came in are everything I need to get it back together. Now you guys can see here on the front unit, we have tons of just miscellaneous broken tabs. Broke off the tab there. This is what bolts down to the frame rail. Probably honestly could have been fixable, but these parts are pretty cheap. So I went ahead and replaced that. We also have to go ahead and transfer all of our hatches, modules onto the new one and get this headlight on. All right, well, we have our 2 new pieces to replace, obviously our broken pieces. So we're gonna go ahead, start swapping all this stuff over. That's just garbage. Now this took a pretty gnarly impact. Thankfully though, the radiator is intact. Don't think that was supposed to break off like that. New piece goes on. There's no way they sent me the wrong part. And well, I needed a driver's side one. This appears to be a passenger. And I don't think we can make this work because obviously the mounting points are different. We're gonna be starting this an interesting way now because I'm starting this car. I'm ending off this video with this car running and I'm overnighting the rest of these parts. Now, the only thing I can think of on why I got the wrong part, one, they messed up, or because these are ordered in the UK. The driver's side is on the passenger side here. It is on the right side of the vehicle. So if I said I needed the driver's side, whatever, that's probably why I got sent this one. But what's interesting is they know I'm from the US. They know this is a US car, as I've ordered tons of other stuff for this car. But that's kind of my thinking, as in the UK, this would be considered the driver's side. All right, we got 2 new people to the party, my boy Richie and Justin. We just made a little Walmart run, picked up some distilled water and some oil for this thing. We're going through butting up a few more things. Now, before anything, I should probably put the last ECU or whatever this controls, this A control module on. It bolts right onto the frame rail there, and then get our plugs on. Now we got all of the front coolant lines done. I think it's time to place the battery on, get all of the electrical system hopefully working here before we toss in some fluids. Oh, this is so much heavier than it looks. I thought these were supposed to be light. Now the question is this battery dead? Now we got my power distribution block all hooked up. This can now set on top of the battery, just like that. Now before we go to start the car, I forgot I have a fancy voltmeter. We can test the battery to see if it has voltage. Ooh. I don't think she'll crank with 6 volts. Well, I discovered I have my cigarette outlet. Now I bought the fancy, actually not even that expensive battery charger, but of course it has to plug into the cigarette outlet. So what we're gonna try to attempt to do is plug in this harness and plug in our tender while we're still wrapping up a few things. And hopefully we're not missing enough harness connections that this is actually pulling power. I guess we can voltmeter test this. That's what's so cool about having tools. Oh, there's a green light. That probably must mean good. Now, how to do a little bit of ghetto rigging, but the charger now shows, oh, it says check. What does check mean? I thought it said charging. I have to restart it? Do I just hit reset? Nothing's on now. Yeah, just keep saying check. The time is here. We are gonna go ahead and refill the 720 with oil. We have some 5W40, not my preferred oil, but this is all we could get right now. Let's go ahead. I think the proper oiling procedure is to start off with 5 quarts, which we got right here. No leaks yet. She's empty. This does not look like I own a McLaren. I have a cut open milk jug pouring in Walmart distilled water. Shit. I think we can start it. Now this is where the nerves set in. Already have set in. I'm extraordinarily anxious and excited. I just really hope everything goes good. Right now I'm trying to find the key as we're about to start this. I think I saw it, ignore my mess, right here. Now hopefully our key isn't dead. That would suck. Is there any juice in the car? I hear something. I hear noises. Well, remember last time on our, I guess our first start? It still wouldn't start. I don't know, we'll see. Hop in here, no seats. We got power. Dude, it's doing the same thing from when we first started it. Okay. I hear all the Fuse is tripping. Ah! Okay, we got power. We just lost power. I'm just gonna hold the brake and start it.
That's right.
Oh, I lost brake pressure. I wonder if, because I had to take off the rear brakes. I wonder if that's part of it. Let's go ahead and pump this a few times. No brake fluid, let's put some in. You could just use .3. I don't even think I have any. I think we'll be fine. There's some fluid. Yeah, there's enough. There's enough. Okay. Dude, come on. Now, my theory is when we could just be low on voltage, it's showing 12 volts still, which is enough to crank this. I think the key battery is very dead, and that's why I think it keeps shutting off. So I'm gonna put the key as close to the ignition as possible, if I can find the key, and see if that works. You ready? Yeah, it seems like it's just dying. Now, probably doing the one thing, I know I have so many of you guys in the comments, you can't jumpstart lithium. I have no other choice. I'm not waiting days for this thing to charge. I don't think it's gonna damage the battery that much. So we got my boy Justin's Honda, a little case swapped. Turbo Honda in here, hopefully gonna supply enough power. It's either that or the key fob is just so dead it keeps cutting power. Let's see. Okay, take 13. All right. Oh, the screen came up this time though. I wonder if I just hold, okay, if I hold it, seems if I hold it, it does better. We got power.
Same shit.
Babe, babe, babe. Should I just keep holding it for a minute? Just like wake it up. Maybe it just hasn't been woken up in so long. Hey, I got fuel in here. 2,700 miles. Parking brake not applied. Our taillight's on? Oh, well, this doesn't help. The battery says 0 days too. I'm sure it's just a battery issue. It's just so destroyed. Just gonna keep trying this until we're successful. It's so gotta be a battery issue. It will start, it has to. I mean, hazards and stuff are working. Let's put the key there. Come on. The starter relay is clicking. Okay, I'll be back. Driver door internal release. I don't care. Ah! No way! Let's go! It sounds good this time! On the first start originally, it sounded like buns. It's running so good! Open downpipe, we'll cat it downpipe. Woo! Look at that, baby. Suspension failure. Any leaks?
Just that, but it's not wet. It's fresh.
Oil leak. Weird, I didn't disconnect any oil lines. It sounds good, huh? It's 127. Oil temp doesn't show. How does oil temp? Look at that. Is that pegged? It doesn't show anything. Not functioning oil temp. Maybe it's not plugged in. Yeah. We have every code on imaginable right now. I'm so speechless. I want to let this car run as long as possible to try to get this battery jump started again. Obviously, I want to make sure temps are good before we do that. The radiator fans are crazy. These suck. It sounds like a jet. It's almost louder than the exhaust. Yeah, this is so sick. This is so weird. I did the exact same thing back on New Year's on the first build episode. It wouldn't start and then randomly just started, but now it's running great. Like I mentioned, I think it's the battery issue. I don't think we can see it now, but the battery showed 0 days, which means it was just completely done for. But it's a brand new battery. I'm hoping running it should recharge it. The relays on this are so loud.
Power steering pump. It's out. The only thing I can think is if that's dry and it's soaking air.
Maybe. I never disconnected power steering though.
Just slid it out of the way.
Yeah. is such a crazy feeling, boys. We're getting so close to the end where I can actually start driving this on the street. The next video, we are gonna be driving this very, very soon once we work out some kinks, make sure everything is working properly. Also, I've never seen this powered on before. I don't even know how this works. Built-in garage door opener. Ah, coolant's getting hot. I should probably shut it. Coolant temperature is climbing. We obviously have not bled the coolant system yet. It runs so good. I mean, last time I was breaking up, or the MAF sensor was broken, but all of that stuff's replaced. Mechanically, the car is perfect right now. We're really just missing a body. I do notice we do have a small brake leak. That oil leak is getting a little bit bigger. It's because the axle isn't pushed in all the way. So axle seal, that's easy to fix. Other than that, no oil leaks, no water leaks, just a small brake leak. Now let's lock her on up. I thought maybe that would shut it off. Oh, it shut off the inside. So now the radiators are cooling down because obviously when you kill any car, the radiator fan's down for a little bit. Now you can properly hear how loud these are. It pulls crazy. I wonder what the CFM rating is. Tomorrow, I have someone that has a tool coming over. We're gonna bleed the whole coolant system properly and check for codes, but this will do for now. She did suck up quite a lot. Ah, there we go. Should I just pull it? Yeah. Now we have a problem. Now this car is inconsistently starting up, meaning it's not starting up every time I click on the ignition. Now, I believe it was due to a low voltage issue, so I went ahead, this now the next day, it's been sitting on the tender and it shows it's on the care mode, which means that the battery is holding a proper running normal voltage. So I'm hoping that this battery can be revived. But I think the other thing that was causing us issues is I believe our key fob battery is dead, or at least very close to being dead. So I went ahead and picked up some new batteries. We're gonna go ahead, swap that out, and it should start. Now everyone says that McLarens are an electrical nightmare. Now we're gonna soon find out as we're getting to the point where I am gonna be driving this car and figuring out all of the hiccups with this. Any car with low voltage is going to cause tremendous issues. Now the electrical on this car is quite a nightmare. It is a nest, it's everywhere on this car, but the battery was sitting for a couple months since the first episode. Actually, since New Year's, this has been disconnected, sitting on top of my table, and I have not been able to put a tender on it. So obviously with low voltage, it's gonna cause us a ton of issues. Hopefully with the battery being charged, we change the battery. That solves one of our issues. All right, we got the new battery in. Let's see if it starts up. Now it's already powering on all of the inside electronics, which is a great sign. It was not doing this yesterday when we got this car started. And then right on the dash, it shows we have 45 days on the battery, which again showed 0 yesterday because the battery was dead. But now let's see if this will crank over when I want it to. All right, let's see here. Well, through on the dash. Yeah, it's doing it's not doing anything. From Silver Star Automotive. He brought his Autel, I believe it's an Autel, a very fancy scan tool. We're gonna go ahead and connect to the car to read what codes there are. I already know there's gonna be a bunch because we still have a ton of stuff unplugged. Maybe it'll give us a better understanding of why it's not cranking over every time. This is your first time hearing it.
Louder than I thought.
It doesn't have a catback on. It sounds pretty good though. Now we got our transmission leaked all figured out. No more leaking out of the axle seal where the axle is not all the way in. Now Thomas here from Silver Star Automotive has his, is this an Autel or is this a different brand?
Launch.
A Launch?
Yep, so it's a X431 throttle.
Okay. A very baller scanner that can do some McLaren stuff, at least be able to read us codes. Will it read all codes or just probably certain codes?
It should read everything.
So it should read everything. We're gonna go ahead, plug it in and see what's popping up. I know we're gonna have a ton of codes because there is so much on here that just isn't plugged in. The doors aren't on, the seats aren't in. Sure, there's airbag codes, lights codes, so many codes on this. McLaren Diagnostic. Not the proper McLaren Diagnostic tool, not the MDS tool, but.
No, it is not MDS, but it works.
It's connecting. I hear it connecting. There's so many codes already. Oh my goodness. There's so many codes. I guess, can we delete all and see what pop on?
Yep.
Like maybe fire the car, because I'm sure some just needed to get reset. And then there's obviously gonna be tons of codes on here. That's not bad, 22 codes. I have more than that on my Honda probably right now. So we're going through, we did have a couple ECU codes after we deleted everything because some stuff has been unhooked and put back together. All of those are gone. We have 3 TCU codes and then a ton of airbag and stuff, but nothing that shouldn't be there, which is a really good sign, meaning everything that I did should properly be hooked up. And then obviously we have all our airbag codes and whatever's not connected. I'm sure we have some electrical faults and airbag stuff for the doors, as there is airbags in each of the doors. But we're just going through, looking up each one of these codes and seeing what it tells us. I cannot wait to have this car just done running so I can actually go through and figure out what everything on this car does and how to get there. So yeah, no codes that aren't supposed to be there, which is a great sign. That means when we do go ahead and put this car together, we should be good to go. We still have to do quite a few things like the whole suspension bleeding procedure, stuff like that. But we're about to go through and air bleed this coolant system. And well, here we go. We tried doing the airlift bleeding. Thomas went ahead and brought all of his fancy equipment. And unfortunately, the airlift does not seem to work with this. We're gonna be doing this the old fashioned way with the funnel and just burping the system. It says online it takes between like 5 and 6 gallons. I believe we have about 4, maybe 5 gallons in. So let's go ahead and see if this car fires up. Now I believe the reason it wasn't firing up every time is the car was throwing essentially a safety. The oil temp sensor was not plugged in, and I can imagine the car doesn't know some of these safeties. It might not turn on. So if it turns on now, I think we fixed our issue. Grab the key. This should power on. There we go. Ready? Oh wait, I did one more and then now it should start. I feel like it's also the brake switch not being bled. Mm-hmm. Oh. Weird. I guess I gotta get down the proper orientation to start my damn old car. I guess I have to memorize the proper orientation to turn on this car. Let's bleed this coolant system. I think it's just fair to give you guys some revs here. Now, one thing that we most desperately need to change on this car is the exhaust system. It is so much quieter than I thought it was gonna be, even with a straight downpipe dump. These cats are quite restrictive. So once we get this car done, dialed in, I do wanna enjoy this in a stock form before I go ahead and start modifying it. But most definitely need to get a full exhaust system, downpipes, and a catback to properly let this engine breathe. Now, I've been talking about an issue, and that is getting the car to start when I want it to. Turns out it was just me being a rookie. I've never touched a supercar before, and I just was doing the improper sequence. I had to wait, since there's so many faults on this car, I had to wait for all of the faults to cycle through, and then the car will start every single time when I want, and I'm gonna go ahead and prove it to you guys right now. Now, I mentioned we don't have any faults that aren't supposed to be there, which is a great sign. Now, with that being said, there is still quite a bit of work we need to get done on this car, but May 17th, I'm supposed to have this car done and revealed at a show that I am attending. So over the next now less than a month, I have so much work ahead of us, including repainting this entire car. Now, the biggest thing since I started this rebuild was the carbon tub damage. The next video, or maybe 2 videos to come, we already have this fixed. It's not fixed right now. It'll make more sense in a couple of videos, but this is no longer an issue for us. The carbon tub itself is actually fine. Like I mentioned, I'll explain more in the future video, but let's go ahead and start this up and I'll show you guys what I have to do here. Right now, the car thinks it's locked since I'm manually closing the gate so I can properly shut down the electrical system in here so I'm not draining the battery. So we're gonna go ahead and unlock it. And you can hear that the lock opened up. And here we go. All of the electronics on the inside are now powering up, which is a great sign. I'm curious to see what our battery shows. 45 days. Truthfully, I'm not quite sure what that number should be at, but here's just an example of how many codes I have. Mechanical or door internal release fault. Obviously, I don't have any doors on the car right now. Passenger door release fault, of course. Parking system switch fault. Parking brake fault. That's all of the at least important enough codes for McLaren to throw on the dash. Now, all of that is cycled through. Now I'm gonna go ahead and hit the ignition once to boot it into all of the accessory mode. Now we have the dash popped up. I'm gonna wait for all of those faults to clear. So many faults on this car. Now, go. Fires right up. The biggest accomplishment I'm taking from this is this entire car was stripped completely down, and I properly assembled everything back together. We didn't have a single issue getting it to start, besides my own issue of not knowing how to actually turn on this car. But stay tuned, very, very soon, we're gonna be taking this on its first drive. I'm truthfully speechless. I don't know what to say, besides the fact I almost have a McLaren 720 on the road. Now to properly end off this video, we gotta give you guys some more revs. Listen to this thing. Another weird thing is I've never really driven many supercars. I don't know if this is a normal thing, but when you rev it up, it drops down so quick. I'm not used to this in my cars. I mean, just watch this. It almost genuinely makes it hard to rev this thing. This is such a dream come true. And now let's go ahead and shut her down. Now the way I do this is I manually put my finger in here, if I can do this one-handed. There we go, it clicked, meaning the door is shut. And now I lock it and it shuts all the electronics down. But there we have it, boys, the long-awaited, anticipated video of the McLaren 720 rebuild. Now it has been a huge struggle getting all of these parts from the UK here. But once we got it here, it was no problem. We got this car when we had parts pretty quickly put back together. Now it should start going very quickly. Like I mentioned, this car needs to be done in less than a month. So we have some work ahead of us. Make sure you guys stay tuned. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, because we have some shenanigans coming with this car. But in the next video, we have to go ahead and address all of the issues with the car, get our suspension system working. We have a parking brake fault. We need to get this car ready to throw some new wheels on that come any day so we can drive this outside. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys are excited. I sure as hell am. This is one crazy rebuild.